Hello everyone, my name's Aloubell and welcome to part 7 of Miraculous Bonds Beyond Fate, my Miraculous Ladybug AU with a different origin story and different other things too. If this video is your first exposure to Bonds Beyond Fate, then please check out the story from the beginning. Return for part 7 when you are ready. For everyone else, sit back, relax, hit that like button for the algorithm, subscribe for more reviews, rants, and rewrites, put the sunglasses emoji in the comments, and enjoy Miraculous Bonds Beyond Fate, Part 7. During the attack that occurred near the school in the last episode, the students were taken to classrooms furthest away from the chaos to take shelter. Chloe had been with Miss Bustier when the attack started. The whole building seemed to shake as the sounds of chaos could be heard outside. "What's going on?" Miss Bustier asked, concerned, right as the sound of a loud crash echoed throughout the classroom. Chloe looked outside the classroom and noticed a bunch of her peers panically scrambling as some teachers tried to calm them down. "Hey, you!" The girl tried to get someone's attention, but they were too preoccupied to notice her. She scowled. "Hey, I'm talking here. I'm trying to ask—"
"Attention students and faculty."
A loud voice spoke into the speakers that were placed throughout the school.
"An Akuma attack is currently taking place next to our facility. Students, calmly find a teacher and follow their guidance and instructions. The akumatized victim does not seem to be aiming towards our school, but we should still remain cautious. Once again, all students report to a nearby teacher. Further instructions will come soon."
"Oh my," Miss Bustier gasped. "An Akuma?" Chloe shrunk into herself a bit defensively as she looked massively concerned. "What the heck is it doing near our school?" Without giving it an extra thought, Miss Bustier grabbed Chloe's wrist and pulled her towards the door. "You need to get somewhere safe, Chloe. If we're able to hear the commotion from outside this well, we're probably too close to it. Let's go." Still worried, Chloe nodded, okay. But in the immediate next moment, Chloe gasped. "Adrian's! Where's Adrian? We have to find him." "I'm sure he's safe, Chloe. It's our job as teachers to protect you children. You heard the announcement. Any teacher that finds him will keep him safe, I promise." "But what if a teacher can't find him?" There was another loud crash that made Chloe flinch. Miss Bustier bent down to Chloe's height and put her hands on her shoulders. "I understand your concern, Chloe, but you need to have faith in us and faith in your friend as well. Trust he'll make good decisions to keep himself out of trouble." Even with those words, Miss Bustier felt Chloe's shoulders trembling. She looked outside of her classroom door and noted all of the panicking students. This was a scary situation for everyone, and surely, not all kids handle these kind of things as well as others. So, just to be safe... "Chloe, listen to me. I need you to go join your peers, and I'll search around for Adrian, alright?" Chloe sniffed. Really? You'd do that for me?" Miss Bustier smiled reassuringly and patted her head. "Of course, but not just for you. Adrian is my student as well, and so are the others. I'm going to make sure everyone is okay." "Miss Bustier." In that moment, Chloe forgot her worries and felt a rush of hope fill her being. She confidently nodded to her teacher and then exited the classroom. Miss Bustier then got to work. As the emergency continued, Bustier took the time to text and call as much of the faculty as she could to locate each of her students while she herself was searching the campus for them. All the while, she kept her eyes on the smoke and ruckus coming from the source of the conflict. This whole Akuma thing was still so new to her and everyone. They didn't know what to expect, nor did they know to what lengths this villain Hawkmoth was willing to go to get what he wanted. But to be so careless as to cause a scene next to an establishment filled with children? The audacity! Bustier wanted to give Hawkmoth a piece of her mind, but, in the moment, had to focus on staying alert so that she could stay safe enough to find her missing kids. In time, she was able to learn the locations of everyone. Everyone except for 4. Nino, Alia, Adrian, and Marinette. None of the staff had seen them since lunchtime. None of the staff? How could that be possible? How has no one seen them? Bustier asked herself. Don't panic, Kayleen. They're probably all scared and hiding somewhere. They probably aren't the only ones. I just need to keep looking. And just as suspected, she managed to find some students from other classes tucked away in some crevices around the school. Fulfilling her duties, she helped guide the kids to other teachers who could keep an eye on them. However, even with those discoveries, she was unable to find those 4. Eventually, things became quiet. Well, aside from the copious police and fire truck sirens, but other than that, the crashing stopped. The overall atmosphere of danger had been lifted. Was everything safe? Still worried sick, Bustier found herself at the front of the school, hoping to find a trace of something substantial. Just then, she noticed Nino and Alia running up to the school, both covered in dust and dirt and displaying a few scrapes on their skin. It was apparent that they didn't expect to see their teacher given the surprise and nervous looks on their faces. "Nino! Alia!" Without giving a second thought, Miss Bustier ran up to them and hugged them both, squeezing them affectionately tight. "I'm so glad I found you." Alia struggled to speak through the embrace. Nice to see you too, Miss Bustier." "Why are you out here?" Nino asked. "Isn't it a bit unsafe?" Miss Bustier released her hug and looked down at the two in concern. "I could ask you both the same thing. Where exactly were you two coming from?" The two teens exchanged uneasy glances before looking back at the disapproving expression on their teacher's face. "Well, the thing is," Nino tried to explain, but Alia then cut in. "It was my fault, Miss Bustier. I saw a small child about to get crushed by some debris, and since no one was around to save them, I figured I'd leap into action. Nino just came to make sure that we were all right." She chuckled nervously. Nino grimaced, and Miss Bustier was unfazed. "Oh, did I say that I was trying to save a small child? What I meant to say was that I felt like a small child and got so super scared that I completely freaked out and ran straight into the danger. You know, because maybe the bad guy wouldn't suspect that I run straight into danger." Alia's voice began to trail off as her story broke apart. Nino patted her shoulder sympathetically. "It was a valiant effort." Alia sighed. "Yeah, not my best work." She looked up at her teacher. "You didn't buy any of it, did you?" "Not even a little bit," Miss Bustier said flatly. Both Alia and Nino hung their heads in shame. "In all seriousness, though, it was my fault. I was so super stupid. Leaving the school was my idea, so please don't punish Nino." Nino quickly spoke up. "It's not like that, ma'am. She didn't force me to leave, and I definitely could have done something to stop her from going, so it's my fault too." "We probably worried you a lot," Alia added. "We're sorry," they both said in tandem. Miss Bustier took note of their current state. Their apologies seemed sincere, and given the scrapes and dust all about them, along with the general direction they came from, they clearly got involved in whatever was happening with that Akuma. It seems like they went through quite a lot. Whatever they did, they knew it was wrong, so there was no real reason to interrogate nor lecture them any more about it. She softened her expression. "I won't suspend you two, but I'm sorry, but I will have to inform your parents. And I'll have to give you both detention." "Do our parents really have to get involved?" Alia asked. "Yes, they'll want to know why you two look like you've been in a brawl, and it's my responsibility to tell them." "Can you at least tell them the story of me saving the small child?" Alia pleaded. "Make that double for my order as well," Nino half-joked. Miss Bustier shook her head while Alia and Nino groaned. They were then surprised to find their teacher hugging them again. "Honestly, I'm just glad you're all right." After a few more hugging moments, Bustier released them. She then asked, "Now, have you two seen Adrian and Marinette?" Alia's eyes widened. "Adrian and Mari? They aren't with the rest of the class?" Bustier shook her head again. "That's weird," Nino told her. "But I guess things got a bit crazy. The last time we saw them was at lunch before the attack. They both said they needed to use the bathroom, so maybe they're just hiding out in there? Well, he thought about it for a bit. Hopefully in different bathrooms, but I guess in an emergency it wouldn't matter." "I need you to focus, Nino. Which bathrooms did they go to? Because I feel like I checked them all," their teacher said. "Well, we don't know which ones exactly, but we can take you in the general direction they went," Alia suggested. "Yeah, let's do that," Bustier agreed. And so the trio went off in search for the final two kids. Fortunately, as they made their way to the cafeteria area to retrace their steps, Marinette and Adrian came running up to them, both of them out of breath. "You guys are okay!" Marinette exclaimed happily as she opened her arms wide to hug her friends. But before she could reach them, Bustier got to her first and hugged her out of relief. Miss Bustier? Are you okay?" Mari asked her. "Oh yes, I'm a million times better now," her teacher said in elated exasperation. She then looked over at Adrian. "Are you all right, Adrian?" The boy blinked at her. "Me? I'm perfectly fine." Miss Bustier tugged on his wrist and brought him into the embrace with Marinette as she hugged them tighter. Mari looked over at Nino and Alia, inspecting them. The couple gave her smug looks. "Just let it happen," Alia told her. "What happened to you guys?" Mari asked them. Before they could answer, Miss Bustier released them from the hug. "Before they answer that, where have you two been?" Adrian and Mari's bodies both went rigid as they frantically went through an explanation. "I was in the bathroom," Mari excitedly said. "I was so scared that I couldn't leave the stall. I went after Marinette before the attack happened, but I ended up hiding in the closest classroom I can find, inside the teacher's podium," Adrian added. "Is that true?" Miss Bustier asked skeptically. "I checked every classroom and bathroom. I mean," her words became less confident as she thought about it. "I probably checked each one." "Well, you definitely didn't check the one I was in because I didn't hear you at all," Marinette told her. "Or maybe it's because I was hiding in different bathrooms." "Different bathrooms?" Yeah," Marinette stuttered. I was so freaked out that I tried to find a bathroom that I felt safe in. I don't know, I do weird things when I'm scared." She started to flail her arms around nonsensically. Alia snickered. "Yeah, that sounds about right." Miss Bustier sighed. "I understand, but next time, please find an adult who can keep you safe. I was really worried about you. And you too, Adrian. Although I must give you points for such a unique hiding spot, I can't say it was very safe. Such a compact area is not ideal in such an emergency." "You're right. I'm sorry," Adrian said, trying to search for the right thing to say. I don't do that well in stressful situations either, and the podium seemed cozy." Before Miss Bustier could analyze their words anymore, a voice echoed throughout the campus via the speakers.
Attention students and staff. It appears that the threat has been dealt with. Ladybug and Cat Noir have saved the day.
Cheers could be heard from the side of the school furthest from the previous conflict.
Parents and guardians have begun arriving near the front of the school. Teachers, please escort the students under your care to the front of the school and stand by to make sure each of them gets picked up by their respective caretaker. Just to be clear, the rest of classes have been canceled for today. That is all."
Even more cheers could be heard after that. Miss Bustier allowed no time for the group of friends to catch up and compare notes on the event. She did as directed and led them to the front of the school, where, as warned, a bunch of parents and guardians were trying to get through the front doors. Likewise, many of the students were starting to gather and, to avoid injury, the teachers had to organize them and create order from the chaos. In the end, Mari, Nino, Alia, and Adrian didn't get a chance to talk to one another for the rest of the day about the events that transpired. Mari's parents were among the first to arrive to take her home, followed by Alia's parents and then Nino's. Miss Bustier had resolved to call their parents later to tell them about Alia and Nino's escapades, since things were too hectic at the moment. Finally, Adrian was left by himself, but not for too long. He could hear a faint voice becoming louder and louder. "Adrikins! Adrikins! Where are you? Hey, out of my way! Ah! Adrikins!" Chloe maneuvered her way through the crowd. When she finally saw Adrian, she leapt over to him and tightly embraced him. "I'm so glad you're all right." Blinking in surprise for a few moments, Adrian softened and smiled as he hugged Chloe back. "Same here. But I knew you to be okay. You're pretty resilient after all." "Is that why you didn't come looking for me?" Chloe asked in a cool voice. "Huh?" Chloe broke the hug and looked down and away, a bitter frown on her face. "I was super worried about you. It's because of me that Miss Bustier even went looking for you." "Really?" Adrian tried to speak up, but Chloe cut him off. "Of course. I don't expect for you to know that. You weren't there. And of course, Miss Bustier is that amazing that she probably would have done that anyway. But still, she balled up her fist and clenched her teeth. But still, you were with Losernet and her stupid friends. Hey, they aren't stupid, Adrian shot back, and her name is Marinette. What's your problem with them anyway, Chloe? They're really nice and you're being mean to them for no reason. No reason? No reason? You can be so dense, Adrian. My problem is that I care about you more than any of them ever will, and you looked for them first. Adrian was taken aback by her passionate outburst. Well, why do you even think I went to them first? I saw you. Once things calmed down, I left the spot we were hiding at and I went looking for you. And that's when I saw you with Miss Bustier and those people. You were chatting it up without a care in the world, not worrying the least bit whether or not I was all right. The very memory of it made Chloe come close to tears, but she kept them in. You didn't even notice I was there. Seeing her distress, Adrian guiltily massaged the back of his neck as he looked away and sighed. You're taking things too personally, Chloe. I just had faith that you were all right, is all. He grinned uneasily at her. After all, Cat Noir and Ladybug were around to save the day. I'm pretty sure none of the other students got hurt, so you just assumed. Is that all I'm worth to you? An assumption? Chloe glared at him. You're ridiculous, Adrian aggressed. Utterly ridiculous. She then turned around and stomped off in a huff. Wait, Chloe, where are you going? The limo will be here soon to pick us up. I'll walk home. I don't want to be in the same space as you right now. In case it isn't incredibly obvious, I'm mad at you. So you tell the driver I'll be on my way in my own time. She continued to put distance between her and Adrian. Chloe. He looked on at her with sadness and regret. Her perceptions of his friends were wrong, and he wouldn't apologize in defending them, but he couldn't help but feel bad for leaving things like that with his childhood friend. Before the girl was successfully able to leave the premises, one of the policemen facilitating the student's pickup blocked her. I'm sorry, miss, but you need to wait for your guardian to... She then shouted at him. Excuse me? Who the heck do you think I am? I'm Chloe Bourgeois. My daddy is your boss, and if you even think about getting in my way, I'll make sure you're fired before I get the next chance to blink. Is that clear? Leaving the cop totally dumbfounded, Chloe managed to stomp away on her own. After a few blocks of huffing and puffing, Chloe's pace slowed down until she finally stopped in her tracks. She was still quite angry, but more than anything, she felt pain. She gave a small growl. Stupid, Adrian. Stupid, stupid, stupid! Without much thought, she took off the sunglasses sitting on top of her head and spiked them towards the ground, part of the lenses shattered. Breathing heavily, she looked over and saw her reflection in one of the shop's windows. The image of her mother flashed in her mind. Her mother, who wore fashionable dark sunglasses, looked down at her before turning and walking away. Coming back to her senses, Chloe immediately turned back to her own sunglasses, noticing the shards of lens scattered on the ground. Everything seemed to be falling apart before her eyes. She dropped down and hugged the broken glasses close and whispered, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hey, are you all right? Said an unfamiliar voice. Chloe looked up and saw a handsome, tall, slender boy who looked around her age. He had kind cyan eyes and medium-length black hair with cyan tips. Looking down at her, he extended his hand to support her. Chloe couldn't help but stare with her mouth agape, her cheeks turning red. Miss? Huh? Oh. Chloe placed her hand in his and he helped her stand up. You aren't hurt, are you? The boy asked. It seemed like something was bothering you, so I wasn't sure. You're cute, Chloe happily squealed, taking the boy aback. Like, super, super cute. She leaned closer to him. I've never seen any boy match Adrian's attractiveness, but I think you've completely surpassed him. You're a model, right? You're totally a model. I know one when I see it. Her eyes completely lit up as she continued to stare at him. Well, no, I'm not a model. Thank you for the compliment, though. You're not? Well, that's just ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. I need to hire you an agent right away. Or, better yet, I'll introduce you to my mother. She's the director of a fashion magazine, you know. She has the connections to help you fulfill your destiny. But then again, if you become famous, how will I be able to keep you to myself? Chloe held her cheeks as she fantasized. Oh well, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there, she squealed again. The boy could only look at her in confused awe. This girl was a unique spectacle. An odd one, but unique. He was a bit uncomfortable, but also a bit intrigued. You're like a bright yellow hurricane, you know that? I shall take that as a compliment. She smiled brightly at him. You must be a gift sent to me by the universe. I was in a totally rotten mood, but then you came along and I barely remember what I was upset about. Glad I could help, I guess. So, cute boy, what's your name? All good relationships must start with a formal greeting after all. I'm Luca Kufan. And you? Chloe scoffed. Surely you must be joking. Luca blinked. About what? There is no way you don't know who I am. I'm me, after all. Oh, so your name is Me? That's pretty unique. I like it. What? No! My name isn't Me. Luca just chuckled at her escalated emotions. Blushing from frustration and embarrassment, Chloe said, How do you not know who I am? My father is the mayor, for crying out loud. Seriously? That's pretty cool, Luca told her. So, should I assume that your last name is Bourgeois, or... Chloe groaned. It's Chloe! My name is Chloe. Chloe Bourgeois. Daughter of Andre Bourgeois, the mayor, and Audrey Bourgeois, the director of Style Queen magazine. I'm basically royalty. She got up in his face and glared at him. Still smiling at her, Luca took a step back and extended his hand for her to shake, saying, Well, it's nice to meet you, Chloe Bourgeois. She looked down at his hand. You're making fun of me, aren't you? To be fair, you're pretty funny, he said. I am not. She scoffed before folding her arms and looking away with a pout. You're lucky you're cute. Catching the hint, Luca retracted his hand but continued to give her a friendly expression. Well, I'm glad you're okay. You perked up really quickly, so that's a good sign. The vibes around you are much less tense than they were a few minutes ago. Are your sunglasses all right as well? Chloe looked down at the sunglasses she was still holding. There were noticeable jagged holes where the bits of lens used to be. The lenses that were intact had cracks. Why do you ask? They're just sunglasses, Chloe said as she began to situate them back onto the top of her head, but she stopped short. Instead, she hooked them to the collar of her shirt, a look of shame on her face. Luca thought to himself for a moment. I suppose that's true. Well, seeing as you're okay, I'll be off. Wait! You can't go! Chloe pleaded. Didn't you hear anything I said before? Fate clearly brought us together. So, how about it? Go on a date with me. Luca looked at her with a bit of surprise. A date? I mean, I appreciate your forwardness, but... Stop right there. That sounds like a rejection. I don't do rejections. Am I not pretty enough? She desperately asked him. No, that's not it. You're quite pretty. Then what? Oh, I know. You want compensation. I can get you almost anything you want. Just name it. I am super rich after all. There will be major perks to being my boyfriend, I assure you, she said smugly. But I don't want to be compensated, Luca told her. I mean, would you seriously be okay with paying for someone's affection? Without skipping a beat, she replied, Sure, why not? Luca frowned and looked at her sympathetically. He sighed. Oh, Chloe Bourgeois, I can tell you have a lot going on. Your inner melody is chaotic and out of tune. Offended, she asked, What the heck is that supposed to mean? It's kind of hard to explain, he told her. If I had my guitar, I could show you a bit better. Chloe gasped. You're a musician? That makes you even more attractive. In any case, I'm sorry. I'm not interested in dating you. Chloe's face fell in dejection as he explained. Not only did we just meet, but I feel like you need to work through some stuff before you could enter into a healthy relationship. I'm sorry if that came off as a bit too forward. I just feel like it's something you need to hear. I mean, I don't know much about you, and I'm sorry for making assumptions. It's just a feeling I have, is all. Once again, Chloe clenched her fists as she stared down at the ground in resentment. Luca then told her, However, Chloe Bourgeois, if you want, we can be friends. But before Luca could finish that last word, Chloe ran past him at full speed without giving him a second glance. Stupid, 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 stupid! Everyone is stupid! She thought to herself as she ran, tears forming in her eyes. And before he knew it, she was out of sight. Looking on in her direction, Luca sighed. Well, that's a shame. Hopefully things end up working out for her. I can tell there's a fun person in there somewhere. Oh well, I guess. And with that, Luca continued on walking in the direction he was originally set, curious about what events the rest of the day would bring. But as for now, that's all there is. There isn't any more.